Hello everybody, today I review an interesting and in my opinion very pretty watch, the Rodina R005, and also a very elegant Spyderco pocket knife called the Des Horn, and I will also explain why I put both of them in the same video. I will already give you here a glimpse of the pocket knife from Spyderco, closed for now. Later you will be able to see it in all its glory. And here, that's where we begin with the watch, and I think you can already agree that this is an elegant minimal design. Many more details coming soon. In fact, look now at this. If you're not very very much busy with watches, you may not notice that, but this watch is called an homage, meaning it's not a fake, but a tribute, you could say, to a popular design. I will explain, but then I will also explain how to nuance all this. Of course, it makes a reference to this Nomos watch. Nomos is a splendid, relatively small German brand that makes high quality wrist watches. Clearly, there is more than a little similarity. Now, I wouldn't, however, immediately dismiss the watch that I have in my hands, because this style, in fact, is an old German style that you could say Nomos made very popular again. Let me show you. In fact, everything goes back to the art school of Bauhaus in the 1920s and 30s. The Bauhaus art school, where you could say art and architecture and craft and design all came together, was extremely influential in architecture, in design of furniture, in everything. Typically very minimal, very pure designs, and I think the influence you still see in a lot of high quality German furniture, that lovely minimalism. And in fact, already then in the 1930s, there were watches where it is said that these were inspired by the Bauhaus ideal. So let's have a look. This one is a Stoa, a famous German brand, was resurrected I think 10 to 20 years ago. And I discussed this brand, well, I briefly introduced it when I made my first combined watch and knife review, when I discussed traditional pilot watches. But so this one is also called a Bauhaus style watch, and indeed it is somewhat similar to this one. Even the lugs here reminds. So this is a Stoa from the 1930s. Here a Lange. These days Lange makes awfully expensive watches, but this one, also I think from the 1930s, is very similar to this Rodina or to the Nomos. So in a way, yes, you could say that the German brand Nomos also took its inspiration from its glorious ancestor. So I think we have to nuance that the Rodina, yes, it is in that Bauhaus tradition, but I think it's quite acceptable and it should not be ashamed for what it is. Another one here is called, I forgot how it's called, I cannot read it now. Kano or Kano is another German brand. This is somebody, a lucky guy, who had a new old stock, can you believe that, from the 1930s, and oiled it a bit, and it works beautiful. So you see, these are traditional watches. I will show you here a few modern interpretations. Well, Stoa, the German brand that I showed you first, make kind of a similar watch again. And that you can buy now is very beautiful. It's also in this style. At the top we have two Junghans, that's a German brand, Junghans. Well, in fact, most of these watches are German, or at least German in conception. The Max Bill. Max Bill was in fact an architect, famous architect with Bauhaus background. And here Panzera, a bit an unlucky name I find, but it's a smaller German brand. And they call this one the Breuer. Now, Mr. Breuer was also a famous designer of Bauhaus. Bauhaus inspired furniture, and maybe even architect, I'm not certain, but definitely a designer. So, I mean, all this as a background of this kind of minimal style, which I think is totally timeless. I mean, yes, these are modern watches, but they look very similar to the ones of 70, 80 years ago, and they still look very good. A few details before we see the real watch in a bit more detail. Well, the dial is 39 millimeters, and since it's almost completely well, the case is 39 millimeters, and since it's almost completely a dial with a thin bezel, that's why in fact it wears bigger, you could say, than you would expect from a 39 millimeter watch. 9 millimeter, well, a tiny bit over 9 millimeter thick, a small second hand, as you can see moving here. The movement, well, this is in fact a Chinese watch, by the way, but look at this. The time that you associate Chinese product with inferior quality is really behind us. There can be very nice quality from China, and this one, in my opinion, offers a very good quality for honestly the price of 1 to 2 swatches. To give you, I mean, to have a, I could say, an equivalent in Swiss watches. So. And it's indeed a lovely automatic movement from sea-gull. Remember, if you see one of my previous videos where I talk about the sea-gull 1963 traditional pilot watch. Well, this is here the same movement, sea-gull, very good manufacturer of movements and also of their own watches. Many fashion watches which are automatic use sea-gull movements. And with even some I would call that making it a bit more beautiful, but it's not done with the hand, impossible at that price. But there's nothing wrong with the way this is made. So the movement is called ST710, is automatic, you see the rotor here. It beats at 21,600 beats per hour, so it's similar to Japanese watches. It's a bit lower than most Swiss, the beat of Swiss watches. The accuracy is reasonable of this one, but it's not as good as my my higher end watches. But still, it's less than 10 seconds per day without readjustment. So this is the variant which is most popular, which looks a bit like Nomos. But it also exists with Roman numbers, which in fact looks like another Nomos. And also with dials in black or in dark blue, but in fact the white one I think is probably still the nicest one. The lugs, look here at the lugs here, they stick out and then under 45 degrees, quite special in fact. Like in fact that very old watch that I showed you, well, it accepts 20 millimeter straps, so very versatile. And the lugs are drilled, you can see, so with a little tool, and in fact I have one just here. So with a little tool you can just press in to exchange the straps yourself. Surprising at the price, the front here, the glass is sapphire glass, so very nicely scratch resistant, and the back is mineral glass. Well, okay, normally that is on your wrist, so it will not scratch. Yes, here mine still has the red sticker here, because in fact I will give it as a Christmas gift. And in fact, so my opinion, this is a lovely dressed watch with these very simple blue sticks for the. No, it's in fact black. No, it's blue. Sorry, it's blue. But the light was a bit suddenly deceiving for the hour and the minutes and the seconds. Because it's an automatic movement, the second hand seems very smooth. What else here about the dial? Well, it says proudly China made at the bottom. So, and indeed, this is something they can be proud of, in my opinion. I put it on my wrist. Now, I find personally, well, so for a dress watches should normally not be too big. So for dress watch, this is quite acceptable. 39 millimeters. Still, I admit, have quite a meaty wrist. I think it looks a bit too small on mine. I think for my wrist I prefer to start at 42 millimeter. It's also why I didn't buy it for myself. In fact, I have slightly bigger ones that I will also discuss in other videos. But still, it is really lovely. The leather strap, stock leather strap, is quite a reasonable quality. It's genuine leather, but it's very flimsy and thin. but it's not, I don't think it's extremely fragile, and it's very comfortable, it's supple, so I wouldn't replace it immediately, but of course there are splendid aftermarket options available. You see here also it has Rodina laser etched here, well, nothing special. The how you call this here, the pin to lock in fact your buckle. The pin is a bit weak in my opinion. It's not really inspiring in quality. So that's a bit a pity, considering how nice all the rest is. Even here the crown has the letter R inside, so it's etched. Yeah, so you, like this it's easier to see. So that for this price is also quite nice. You have these two lines here, grooves you could say, for the mounting. The case back is screwed in, I believe. It says 5 atmosphere water resistant, but I mean 5 atmosphere, it does not mean you should go swimming with it. This is done in a lab. It can handle splashes, but honestly don't go swimming with this. That will be much better. And well, I think this is absolutely wonderful. Even for people who would like to have or save up for a Nomos, that beautiful German brand, which is, it must be said, at a higher level. The general finish is totally a work of art. This is, you could say, a very nice step in between while they're saving. I think it's fantastic. Totally dressed, and also interesting, I think you can wear it both as for men and women. It looks perfect on a suit or on any kind of dressed occasion, for women as well. Totally wonderful. So let's put it aside for a second, and now because the Spyderco Des Horn, well, I take it here. Maybe, sorry, I will bring this away first. I was thinking that, okay, I have here a Bauhaus watch. What kind of pocket knife would in a nice way be combined with a Bauhaus watch? I think this absolutely lovely Spyderco has it, because it is quite minimal and pure in line. It's a purely functional, elegant, minimal pocket knife. You see very pure lines, that's also very Bauhaus. The grooves here, you see that begin here above the hole, and they continue curved in the handle. I think they have even a bit of an Art Deco vibe, which was more or less the time period that Bauhaus made things more severe. But so I think in a way that minimal arty elegance, that pure elegance and a nice finish in general, I think they go well together. So if you're the gentleman, I mean, wearing this watch, then why not having this in your pocket to elegantly peel an apple? Again, for those of you who are not so familiar with my knife reviews, I'm not interested in weapons. I'm interested in elegant objects. So I'm not interested in self-defense. For me, this is a nice little companion knife for various use. Some practicalities of this knife, and I will not take the iPad back, but I'll read from it so that you can meanwhile look at it, at the knife. The designer Des Horn is in fact from South Africa. He's a dentist by trade, but already since the 1960s, so let's say 50 years ago, he made knives as a hobby, I think. And that is one of his more recent, well, it's a few years older more recent designs. Oh, dimensions. If it's open, this is 183 millimeter long, so a bit more than 18 centimeter. Closed, 105 millimeter. The blade, 79 millimeter. I suspect that Spyderco did that 1 millimeter under the 80 to be more acceptable, depending on the geography where knives can be or locking knives can maybe not be allowed. The cutting edge is 78 millimeter. Indeed, you see this is a very long flat cutting edge and only at the very last part is an unsharpened part. It's 3 millimeter thick, but it very quickly becomes very thin. It's really very scalpel, you could say. The steel is the very serious, very capable CPM S30V steel, like many very good quality knives. Honestly, you don't need better than this, and it's already a pain to sharpen, in my opinion. But it will take an edge forever. The handle is, I thought first, when I saw it first, I thought it was carbon fiber, but it seems that it's a polished G10. G10 is a very good synthetic material. If you're not so if you don't know so much about knives, it's a very sturdy material. But they polished it, so it feels very luxurious. It's only 56 gram, so it's very light. The watch is even a bit lighter, in my opinion. I forgot to measure it. Interestingly, this is one of the Spydercos that's made in Taiwan, so in the Far East. And this one is made in China, so in a way, that is another thing that links them next to the style. And it must be said that the Spydercos which are made in Taiwan, they're always awesome. They're absolutely perfect. There is never anything I can reproach them. They are as good as my Klotzlis or as the finish of my Sebenza. I don't think it's better. Those luxury knives. And as luck would have it, I have one of my Klotzlis here. Famous knife, very beautiful. Of course, this is from titanium, but I don't think it's in fit and finish better than the Spyderco. Spyderco, yeah, this Taiwanese Spyderco, the OEM that does it for Spyderco, does fantastic job. So a bit more. Well, I think it's absolutely wonderful. Huh? This is for me a perfect pocket knife. It has something like a raptor fish, the way it looks. Very pointy blade, very thin here for precise work. This is not designed to be prying a door open or something like that, and it will definitely break. But for precise cutting, this is absolutely wonderful. And with this flat Warncliffe blade, you can you have a lot of usable edge. The spider hole is smaller, but it's really big enough for smooth one-hand opening. The lock is the well-known Michael Walker designed liner lock, perfectly adjusted, nicely at the left. Everything is sturdy. Now you would think this is all G10 here, so you may wonder, yes, G10 is a very good material, but is it sturdy enough? Well, in fact, obviously here where the lock is, there is a metal plate worked nicely, smoothly inlaid in the handle, which also adds its stiffness. But also here, you can see just the holes there. They drilled holes to make it a tiny bit lighter, very perfectionistic. There is another metal plate laid into the right handle. So that is also, that adds quality. You can only open it here with, in my opinion, only smoothly open it with the right hand. Now I'm myself left-handed, but so I don't mind opening a knife with my right hand. Some people can be very anal about that, but I mean, I'm not. The clip is here. I assume you can also put it here, but that would not be really practical with the opening. So in fact, this is really a tip-down knife. For me, that's perfect. I like tip down. I find that slightly more safe, that if you go with your hand in your pocket, that it's not exactly accidentally open for some reason and then stick in your finger. So it's so simple wire clip. In a way, you know, you could wonder, does it need a clip? This kind of elegant little knife should be just a bit bouncing around in your pocket, in my opinion, or maybe in a little leather sleeve. But I think it's really very nice. Very nice pocket knife. Very recommended. It's one of my most beautiful and my best ones, in fact. I mean, and if you've seen my reviews over the years, you know that I've got quite a few nice knives, but this one, also the design, this is very different from usual Spydercos. I find this more, the design, well, I mentioned Klotzli. Well, Klotzli has a few knives, but I don't have one of them that look roughly like that. Have that that flat underside and curved top. Or also you could say could be an Italian or a French pocket knife if they would do slightly more high-tech materials than usual. Usually the French knives are more wooden and so the material or bone, but it could almost be French. And I really like the little grooves here that add some playfulness. So, well, I really think, yes, it's pure, it's simple. In my opinion, it's Bauhaus. I bring them back together here. I think really perfect combination for the gentleman. Your affordable dressed watch, but really nicely made, really seriously nicely made. Automatic. In fact, it's cheaper than the knife. It's a bit cheaper than the knife. Price of, let's say, 2 swatches, or not even. And lovely made. You can. How do you buy these things? Well, Google Rodina Bauhaus watch or Rodina watch. You will find this one. You will find the other colors. And there is one that's a bit bigger with a center second, and a date. But suddenly it doesn't look as evident, as elegant as this one. I really prefer the look of this one. And a perfect gift, like I said, mine will be a Christmas gift for somebody who I'm certain will absolutely love this. And the knife, yes, perfect gentleman knife. That is really what even a modern person, unless you're walking in the woods or you're camping, then you don't need this. But for, you could say, white collar jobs where you have lighter cutting tasks, even if it's the annoying opening of a cardboard box or peeling an apple, perfect knife. Lifetime companion, also perfect gift. In fact, this one, so elegant, and nobody will think it's a weapon. Well, I wouldn't. some people would, but good. So this was another watch and knife review, and I've got several more in mind. I hope you found this interesting, and as usual, feel free to leave feedback. Goodbye.